Hi guys, welcome I should say, Stevie GTR, Anything Garage. This is part 6 of making of the Hemingway kits, large bore steady rest. If any of you don't know why it's called a large bore steady rest, it's actually meant for a small lathe, and if you had a big Harrison or a Colchester you'd probably have a steady rest with a fair sized bore. Well, some are small. I mean, I have seen quite a lot of guys on YouTube struggling at 2 inch. This thing does up to 137mm. Is that something like 5 inch or more? It'll take a huge bore, which is great for model engineers because if they're doing cylinders and things like that on a small lathe, it's difficult, whereas with that you find it easy. It also goes right down to something like a quarter, 6mm. Anyway, I've said all this before. So part 6, basically we're going to be making, first thing we're going to do is stick it on the bed and of the lathe, and we're going to drill the M6 follow threads that follow the fingers in and out. We're going to make, hang on, that's a bit naughty really, but I suppose I should do this. Sorry guys, but I'm going to do that because this intro I am doing now is after I've done it. So part 6 is done, not edited but done, but I never did an intro, and this is the intro to it. So yeah, we're going to put it up onto the lathe. We're going to drill the M6 threads through, and we're going to make loads of little things, adjusters and knurling knobs and washers and all sorts of bits and bats. And my plan was this would be it. Part 6 would be the end of making this steady rest, but unfortunately there's just so much to it. I'm up to video 31, and with this it'll be 32 videos. And of course some of them videos are 3/4 of an hour long, maybe, or over half an hour, because I can't put all them on together and just stitch them together. They've all got to be edited and chopped down. So I hope you enjoy it guys. Let's go over and start it. $5mm for 6mm tap. I'm going to tap this all the way through, and I'm not sure whether I've got a tap with a thread on that long. If it's long enough to poke a thread through, a bit of a thread, I can pick it up from the other side like I did before, but I'm not sure. I did have that machine tap, didn't I, with that M6? That might do it. Oh, it's gone right into the centre pot mark, so that's right. I'm going to take this real steady. Do not want to push this piece of work. I'll edit with a bit of a time lapse on this. Otherwise it's going to be boring watching me boring. So that's one hole drilled. It's just a case of now turning, doing them all. Then I'm going to work away out of tapping them. Alright, I'll knock this off because I said I'll only show one of each operation of the 4. Right, I've come up against a snag. So I've drilled that hole, which is the 3rd one I've done. These drills are sods for picking up, so that's a new one, but that's done a hole already and it's half one out. El Cheapo. Okay, so that ain't a huge problem. The problem is this. So M6 tap. Now, longest one I've got, which the longest thread before it gets to the fat part, is this machine tap, which is great, but it ain't long enough to go through that. So I've got stacks of M6 taps. I've got more M6 taps than anything, of any taps I've got. I've been through them all and I've got all sorts of taps, but nothing that'll do that. So I've butchered. I've done a bit of butchering. I've been on bench grinder, and I've literally ground that away off this one, and I've ground it down so it will go through now. Bit of a bodge, but you know, what else can you do? You ain't got one. You ain't got one. And there. The beauty of an inverter, eh? And a 1.5 horsepower motor. It's quite a lot of clout to it. If anybody tells you can't run an inverter forward and then whack it into reverse, ignore them. Here we come. Thinking back, I'm sure I built a panel once for one of my clients. What the hell was it they were doing? It was a sweet, it was a tray for sweets, and it had to move backwards and forwards quite rapidly, really. And we'd set it. It had no run up and run down times, but it just literally did that. The machine continually, all day long. That will run from an inverter. Don't do them any harm whatsoever, so if anybody tells you you can't do it, you can. And it don't cause any problems. Which is the beauty of having an inverter, obviously. Right, so that's a hole drilled and tapped. I've done one and tapped it, and I've drilled one but not tapped it because I couldn't find a tap that'd do it, so that's got to be turned round again and done. And I've one more to drill. I'm not actually using that. I'm going to use the stainless piece I bought. Oh, there's nothing wrong with this. There you go. That's nice and clean. So that's the 4 holes done. Okay, fresh batteries in. I've zoomed out a little bit so you can see the hole being drilled, but you can also see why I put a tailstock DRO on. A few people said when I did this little mod, You know, why on earth would you want one? Well, this is an example. I want to drill 24mm hole. I want to drill 24mm deep. And I can do that with that DRO. It's only approximate, it doesn't have to be accurate. It just gives you an idea of your drilling depth if you're drilling a hole. Otherwise you've got to use the increments that are on the tailstock shaft that comes out, which is a bit awkward to use really, because it's only in 1/4 inches. I think 1/4 inch. So that's 20mm. 21 coming up. There we go, 24.02. Bit warm, but job done. So I think that piece of bar stock's redundant now. I think that'll be going in draw. I'm sure there's nothing else to make with it. That's the thumb wheel, the knurled thumb wheel. Can you see there's a shoulder on it? There's a knurling and then there's a shoulder. So it's 1/8 of an inch thick for the knurled bit, plus another 1/8 of an inch of shoulder, and then that sits on that washer. So basically you'll have a shoulder knurling, and then that'll sit on there, and you'll turn that, and I suppose it's just to stop them binding. Make sure they're nice and smooth and stoned, and they'll push the pins. Okay, so that's all them 4 made, and the 5th made with the 8mm hauling, which I said I was going to check that bolt with dinner to see if it fit with my little toys I made a long time ago. I made these with magnets on. You've probably seen them, but you stick them on there and then you can put a piece of work in up to them. Like that, but obviously I'd have to pack that out some more because it's below the jaws. If I want to skimp face off that, I'd need to pack some up behind it. But yeah, I made a couple just out of Delrin. That's another one I made, but that'll be way too thin. They're just stuck on a metal door. I wonder if, yeah, maybe I put other ones in up to it, I can probably do that. So that'll be my next job, just to face them off, give them a little touch up and a clean and fettle them. See, I've just found a piece of brass that fits the back of it and allowed me just enough grip. I've been careful, nice and steady away, just to get enough grip on that. Didn't want to cause it to fly out or anything. And that's just a piece of brass. So that, the one that with the big shoulder on, the 8mm one. Run the nog around there, but that all does need opening up a bit. You see the difference. Just needed a little dress with round file in the middle. Just took all burrs off and it fit. Okay. First pass. Oh, it's like gold. Right, check. That. Yeah, over 45 again. We're real steady. Going in and out a few times. Pulling itself in. Ooh, I think I just got that when it hit the end. Well, more by luck than mismanagement. adjusted, it's put some wobble in that, so pushing on that has moved that slightly, which means I need to put a steady in. What have I done wrong? I'm taking that edge off, or that edge off, before I parted it off. Should have just broke that edge and that edge. I'll have to do them with something else. But that's basically one of the four. Looks nice enough. Nice nail on it. Yeah. Back in a minute if you saw that bit that shot off. And that could be a face for your new watch. For tonight's efforts. They're a bit scarred. Suppose if I want to be perfectionist I'd run them over a stone and then put them back in there and polish them like I might do yet. I might do. But they've all worked out quite well. Lovely. Don't know if I'm too close to the camera, but yeah, lovely them. $2.40 paper, worn paper. I'm not telling any of you to do this at home. It's something I've always done, polishing stuff, motorbikes and that, but a lot don't approve of holding paper and going near a chuck and all the rest of it, so I'm not telling you to do it. That's the 320. For any of you that ever do any painting, a little tip for you. When you're doing car body work and you're painting and you're rubbing down, the human eye can't see past 650 paper or 600. You know scratches. So if you painted a panel and say lacquered it with clear lacquer, 2-pack or whatever, and then you I'm digressing, aren't I? But a little tip, I'm sure loads of you do painting. If you get up to 600 you can't see the scratch lines anymore in the paintwork. If you get a magnifying glass you can. If you go up to 800, you definitely can't see it anymore. But I mean, I've polished some bikes. I did a lot of Vespa GT 300, GTS 300s, and I did a special Monteverdi one, very rare one with the headlight on the front mudguard. And I painted that. The front were all crashed. I put a brand new front on it, and I painted it. It was black. It was black. So I did a white one as well, and I repainted it and lacquered it, and I wasn't 100% happy with a couple of bits on corner. Now I went up to 3,000 with that before I started with buffing machine. It turned out stunning. The bike were like brand new again. It were only about a year and a half old, been stolen, recovered, no keys. To buy a brand new ECU, £400. The ECU on the Vespa scooters is now on the carburetor injection, I suppose. Yeah, anyway, bit of digression there. Right, so that was 320. Let's see what else we've got. How far are we going to go? We'll compare what this turns out like with the other ones. Patience is a virtue. Look at that, it's like your granddad's gold watch. Oh, I say. Oh. Carburetor cleaner. Oh, I hope I haven't got that on lens. Let that dry off. You all ready for this? Look at that, that's the wet damp on my hand. That's quite nice, I think, don't you? Very nice. Right. Comparison. I'll just undo that and we'll set it on bench. There you go. Oops, no. You can see that. That's one at the side of the other. What do you think? I think that's nicer, don't you? So yeah, off camera, I'm going to do other three. I've still got to clean that nailed knob up that clamps the two halves together. That's full of crap. Wants brake cleaner on it. But you got a bit of pride. I don't know. Tell me what you think. You're right. I'm on with making 4 adjusting studs. I shall show you. These. Let's go on to this piece of threaded rod. they're the studs that adjust the fingers in and out of the body, the casting. So there's a knurling on there. It's 5/8 to start with. Are we right? 5/8, sure. Yeah, 5/8. I'm working in metric, 15.9mm. It's got to be knurled, and it's got to have a narrow shank in there, and then this flange here, which is what drives onto the fingers. Now, that thickness there is more, I believe, than what they're showing me, because I cut them a bit deeper, because I couldn't find any dimensions for them. Probably if I'd have looked at that, I'd have worked it backwards maybe. But anyway, so that I'm going to knurl the whole length of the bar first. I'm going to drill it through 5mm, so that once they're all cut off, they can be tapped M6. So that's what I'm on with. That's what I'm doing. Oh, that's sharper, yeah. Not chuffing swarf out, is it? That is gorgeous. One pass. I think I'm not going to do any more. Let's piece of clean cloth. Well, I don't know if you can see that, guys. I hope you can. In fact, I'm going to unchuck it and move it around for you to have a look at. It's lovely. One single pass. I could not believe that. I thought 2 or 3. I mean, all they are is little thumb wheels you get hold of, but yeah, lovely that. Right, that's either scrap or it's good. I've got some rubbing down to do. Run tap through it and see if it works. I shall come back shortly to let you know. If it does, I've just got 3 more to make like it. So that's 1, 2, yeah, loads of metal. Right, turn that off. Okay, I'll come back shortly when I've got this file. I've got to take this burr off and everything. Okay. Right, so it doesn't fit straight off the bat. Well, that's not a disaster. It's just I haven't taken enough off the thickness of the shoulder to fit in the groove there. Sorry. Right, can you see how it works? I have got a bit of tinkering to do here. Because that is tight. Whoa, I think I've got my dimension right. It turns okay. It's pushing that finger down and it's pulling it up. You see that? Eventually this threaded rod will be locked into this and it'll be a long piece of threaded rod. But for intents and purposes, you can see, where are we? If I screw that down, it's taking the finger down. Can you see that? And that's the finger down as far as it'll go, which is probably its close position. Happy with it, not 100%, but pretty much so. It's just a bit tight. Right, a little bit tight, and I can see shiny there, so it's grabbing on the back of one of these. It's where I've cut the groove, it's catching on that edge, so it only wants a little bit of dressing up though, and I reckon if I make 4 now in total, 3 plus this one of that dimension, I'm going to be okay. So yeah. So that's how much is left out of a piece of bar like that they give you. That's what's left. Just enough for work holding, I guess. 4 done. That one there, just need to break that edge off there a bit. Might be just a bit of a burr, but it's just slightly tight. Just a fraction. There's still some drilling of the casting to do, and loads of little bits of threaded rod to make, some silver steel pins, there's 8 of them to make, and then there's the base to mill so it fits on the Myford, and the little aluminium die-cast bracket that comes with it's got to be drilled and tapped. So there's still quite a lot to do, which it's going to have to be another episode. I was hoping to get it all finished in this one, but difficult one, guys. Some guys on certain forums will say, why do you show all that crap? And why don't you just show a picture of it before you start, and then when you've finished it? But that's not what YouTube's about, is it really? I really want to show it all, and I know for a fact there's quite a few guys hankering to make one of these. Some have already got them, not started them, and I think one lad started one and did something wrong with his drilling. I don't know whether it's corrected that, but I want to show it all, because if anybody wants to make one, all they've got to do is look through my series and think, that's the bit I'm stuck on, or that's the bit I'd like to see how he's done it, because I'll cover that when I do ending up film, because there's a bit I want to say about it. Okay, right, so we'll go over to the bench in a minute. All right, guys, this is probably an appropriate time to close down or close off this episode, because it's gone on for quite a while. I've been making all these parts. They're all like ancillaries for this. As you know, we bored the main holes for the fingers, and the fingers slide in and out lovely. Threaded rod, I've got some stainless to cut for here, 4 pieces. This is what came with the kit, which I'll probably use for the short studs. So we made these, which are the thumb screws that press onto these washers that sit on there. One of them, as you saw, I polished it up, so I'll probably do the same with the others. It didn't take much to do, just a little bolt in the jaws of the chuck. I made the washer as well that actually works on, goes on that part there, which is the casting that goes on the bed of the lathe. There's still the brackets and things underneath that clamp it to the bottom of the bedways. That's another part. What else? So tonight I've finished these off, which you've seen me do, and they're the 4 thumb screws that wind the fingers in and out. Now it doesn't say, but I'm assuming what they're expecting you to do, and it did say bore through, which I'm a bit sad about really, because I don't think they wanted boring through. Now look at it, because what you do is you put a piece of threaded stud in there, and I'm guessing you Loctite it in which case it'd have been nicer, wouldn't it, if it hadn't have come through. It'd have just been blank wood, that top, and that would have been Loctited in there and tightened up, nipped. Because when you turn that, you turn in the threaded rod, which screws into the thread of the bore of the actual framework, and screw it in and out. Yeah, that's right, and it pulls the finger up and down as you do it, which was already shown. I've got them all to fit now, so they fit lovely in the grooves of the fingers. I say lovely, that one's slightly tight, so I still need to do some work on them. They don't want to be tight in there because they'll be binding, so they just want tickling, I think. Okay, but that ain't a problem. That's all to do when you do assembly. As you know, I made the fingers out of phosphor bronze as opposed to brass, and I'll polish those up too before I've done. So that's about it. When I keep saying little GoPro, I'm referring to this little fella, which I bought many years ago. It's a GoPro Hero 5, and they're on 11 now, aren't they? But it's still, as I told you before, I use it with a crash helmet whenever we get chance. But it's a great little thing, and I've got the waterproof door for it that clips on. In fact, haven't had that on for ages. Where is it? Yeah. The beauty of this little Aero 5, it's called an Aero 5 session, is that that door clips on there like that, and you close that door. That is now fully waterproof, so you can stick that in an holder and you can take it underwater if you're swimming. I don't know how deep, it's probably only a couple of metres. I don't think it's deep, but I have had it underwater because I have a koi fish pond and I wanted to see the fish low down in thing, because sometimes, you know, they get a bit shy and disappear. So I put it on a selfie stick and put it down in the water, and I got some good video. Yeah, that's what I'm using when I talk about it. The only problem with it is the battery doesn't last forever, and you can't change the battery on these, you can't take them apart. So when it's done, it's done. So it did overheat once and pack in on me, and I left it to cool down, and it showed battery flat, and I thought that was its day. In fact, I even went on eBay starting to look for another, and then I just plugged the charger in, and sure enough it charged back up, and it's been great ever since. And I can control that from my mobile phone with Bluetooth as well, which is handy. You can see what's happening because there's no screen on this, so you can't see what that's seeing, you can only guess. In fact, you might have seen me using my fingers lining things up sometimes, and it's because I'm trying to guess where, you know, the camera's looking at, etc. Alright, so we're done. I'll get this all edited up. As I say, there's a lot of films. There's got to be over 30 now, I'm sure there is. So I'll get all them edited up and we'll get that one out, and on to the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.